Hey guys, it's me, Seven Faust from YouTube, but you can just call me Faust. My actual name in real life is Chris, but a lot of people online just know me as Dr. Faustus, because that's what my Discord name is, and they don't think Chris sounds okay, because they think that sounds weird after a while. So I guess you guys can call me whatever. Today, I'm gonna do my mirror dungeon. I haven't done one in like 2 weeks because I don't really want to and I think it's kind of boring, but I'll show you the way I do it kind of fast. It revolves around Fell Bullet, but you already knew that because this method is like 6 months old. And usually you would bring low level IDs so they would die quicker, but I want the event rewards, so we're using these guys. Except for these two, because you need their guards to get Fell Bullet in the first place. Because that's Wrath, and Sinclair's Angry, so his is also... Well, his is Pride, but you also need Pride. So let's get into it. I usually like to bring these three. Well, actually I lied. I'd like to bring these three. You don't really need too much. You can choose both of these poise gifts, I guess. And I guess if you really want, this is actually important, you have to do this. You gotta get these two gifts, because this gives you the resources and this gives you the damage. Without these gifts, you cannot do the run, and it's over. The first pack, you want to take the Gambler pack, because I felt like it. That's okay. Sometimes in life you lose 10 SP, but it's okay, because you can win clashes, and you can get that SP back.
이게 최선이겠죠?
When you're in battle, you want to use all your guards first to get the resources. Usually you would use someone like Fell Bullet Yusang, but I want the rewards, so I'm using Ring Sang.
해보겠습니다.
I still don't have enough resources, so I'm gonna guard twice. This usually works, but Sinclair sometimes dies. Or your guys can get staggered too. This is when you reset. In real life you can't reset, but that's okay, because you can learn from your mistakes. I think Sinclair is the worst sinner in Limbus Company. It's not for any particular reason, it's just that I don't really like him and I think that's okay to think. Narratively, I think he's pretty cool, but in general he just kinda peeves me off, and I don't really know why. There are a lot of people in real life who do this too. Like, there are some people that I have no reason to dislike, but I choose to dislike them anywhere for small quirks like them talking too loud, or they're really trying to make a bit work when it's not really that funny, so no one's laughing at it. I don't think Sinclair does this, but I think when he was in high school he probably did. That's probably why he got bullied a lot. I'm gonna finish this guy off with a normal skill, because it's the most efficient way to do it, probably. Sometimes in life you have to settle for second best, just like Sinclair does. But I don't really like Sinclair. Sinclair's dead, but that's okay. We can bring in Heathcliff. Before Canto 5, I really didn't fucking like Heathcliff. He was so loud and brash, and he was always so mean to Sinclair. But after Canto 5, he's one of my favorite sinners. And now I'm gonna shoot him. Never mind, I'm shooting Ryoshu. Which is also okay. As you can see, the entire point of this build is that you kill them in one hit. Just like it did right now. I killed them all in one hit. I'm sorry. I didn't kill him in one hit. Hopefully Heathcliff dies to this fellow boy. Shoot, he used the counter. Now my sharp needle and third is gone. Hopefully Hisang just kills them all here. Oh, that's not good. There are times in your life when all your enemies will be at 1 HP, and you have to spend an extra skill to get them. It's inconvenient, but it builds your character, because you have to do more training. I'm in my training arc in real life right now. As of the time of recording this, I finished all my courses from my first year at university. Compared to other people, my degree is really difficult. I'm currently trying to be a mental health studies major at a university in some sort of country that I'm not going to reveal because that's not important. But all you have to know is that you have to be an empath to do the university stuff, which is something I've trained to do since I was very young. When I was younger, my parents liked to tell me my EQ was really high, even though we never did any of those tests. I think they just saw that I cried when I was listening to sad music and stuff, and they thought that that was pretty cool. I don't really know if my EQ is high or not, but people say that I'm a good listener, so I guess that counts for something. I'm gonna try and get some tier 3s so I can fuse into some importing gifts now. I got a tier 3. That'll help for later. In real life, taking things that'll be good for you later is called an investment. I've made a couple of investments in my life. I'm talking about money, of course, but I'm also talking about real life investments like people and school and relationships and stuff. Not every one of those investments ended up well, but that's just a risk you put in when you put time and money into something, so that's okay. For this round, you should probably use the overclock, because that does extra damage. Try not to overclock in real life. It hurts people, like how Yusang is about to hurt Gregor. Even if you fail to kill Gregor, you still fatally wound him so he gets killed by someone else. Virgilius is pretty mean, but I think he means well. If you've read Leviathan, good for you. Yusang is staggered. It might be over. I fucking failed again. God damn it. But it's okay, because in Limbus Company, you can retry until you do good. But in real life, you don't get that luxury. I'm gonna use my superbity here, because I don't feel like retrying anymore. In Limbus Company, if you fail your retry, You
알고 먹게
lose,
하진 않았을
so I can't
테니.
점
lose.
찍었네. 조각조각 난 기억도
그래, 그렇게 시원하게
I've done this strategy so
보는
much
맛이 나는군.
that Yisang's voice line.
빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
Thank you for Julius. I've listened to that voice line so much that I've heard it in my sleep a couple times. I didn't jolt awake because I knew that was Yisang and Yisang wouldn't hurt me. But it still kinda gave me a little scare. And that's okay. Sometimes life is a little bit scary because I don't know what happens next. I can't just look up what happens in life later, or skip to the end of the book to see what ending it is. And sometimes that's kind of scary to me, because I wake up not knowing what's going to happen next. In Floor 2, you go to Hell's Chicken, so you can get the Tier 3 gift and be really happy. I really like Faust, and it's kind of a shame Faust doesn't have the Fell Bullet ego, because I would use her for this strategy all the time. Instead,
이거 참
Yisang has it,
설레는구려.
so I have to rely on Yisang to do my mirror dungeons.
벌간이들이
Yisang is an alright singer too.
대체로 저런
해보겠습니다.
이유가 있는 법입니다.
Yeah.
잡아 좁혀보시죠.
Sinclair uses counter. That means for sure Beetle and Third is gone.
조각조각 난
That means it's all over, and this will do no damage. See?
창의적인 발상이군.
I really don't fucking like Sinclair.
가급적 전투 중에 떠올리진 않았으면 좋겠는데. 벌간이들이
Here we go again.
조심
대체로
1번
This
저럴
time,
때 이유가
Yisang
있는
shoots first, because he learned from his mistakes from retrying. That's why Yisang is my favorite son. Limbus Company.
상정웨이의
점
공격이었으니
찍었네.
이것까지 당신 탓을 할 수 없겠군요.
합격점.
설마 창의적인 발상이군. 그래도 가급적 전투 중에
Now that this guy is under panic,
않았으면
and
좋겠는데.
because I have
이 기회에
whatever this
평소
ego gift
지휘
is,
실력을 확인해보죠.
I'm able to spam my guard and farm
하던 대로
resources.
해보십시오.
조심
이
1번
기회에
I'm doing this to get
평소
wrath,
지휘 실력을
because it's hard to get
확인해보죠.
wrath.
하던 대로
조심
해보십시오.
1번
I often feel really gloomy, and I don't really know why.
위에서 당신을
I know that I've made some mistakes in my life,
합당한 이유가
but
있겠지.
I don't tend to dwell on them,
점 찍었네.
기대하고 있겠습니다.
because I know I'm only a human being. But there are times where I get
조심 1번
inexplicably unsatisfied with my life, and I tend to do things like stay in my bed and scroll on YouTube Shorts,
조심
or
1번
Instagram Reels, or Twitter. Twitter doesn't really have Reels, but it does have those videos you can scroll up and down on, and those get kind of addictive pretty quickly.
하던 대로 해보십시오.
조심 1번
By watching those videos, I
합격점.
waste time, and I don't do any meaningful action that could get me farther in the world in the future.
갓
And when I'm done doing that stuff, I just feel like I've wasted my time, and that I should be doing something else.
기대하고 있겠습니다.
점 찍었네.
Sometimes, getting up from bed is really hard, because my bed is nice and warm, and when I step out, I feel like going back in again, because my room is really cold.
하던 대로 해보십시오.
조심 1번 차 갓 차
위에서 당신을 관리자로 정한
Bleed is a status in Limbus Company, where the next 24 times a unit tosses an attack coin, they deal 19 fixed damage. I'm sorry if I'm gonna keep this all in the end of the video,
점 찍었네.
but stuff like this that's kind of boring, but is good for you, builds character. That's what my dad told me. And my dad is the coolest person I know. So you're probably gonna have to watch all of this when the video is done. Because I didn't want to edit it out. And it builds character. You've probably noticed that I actually don't sound like Faust at all, even though my entire profile says that I'm 7 Association Faust. I'm really sorry that if I tricked you, and you thought that this was the actual Faust posting a YouTube video, but instead it's just me, Faust, from school.
그냥 눈에 보이는 거 다 박살내면 되는 거지?
I like Faust a lot, guys. She's really freaking cool. I think this idea is really cool too.
대체로 저럴 때는 이유가 있는 법입니다. 이유를 잡아 쫓아보시죠.
But whatever happens in Limbus Company ever, I'll always really like 7 Faust. Because she was my first ever Faust ID that was really awesome. And she was the first ID I dealt 100 damage in. And when she flicked her glasses up, it made me feel tingly and really awesome.
그냥 눈에 보이는 거 다 박살내면 되는 거지?
She also has a unique clashing sound effect. You should look it up. They haven't done that since 7 Faust. Because 7 Faust is awesome and deserves everything.
이유가 있는 법입니다. 이유를 잡아 쫓아보시죠. 그래, 하러 가자.
But I have something to admit to you guys. Limbus Company Faust wasn't the first Faust I liked. The reason my name is Faust now is actually because another Faust from another video game. His name is Faust from Guilty Gear, and he's the guy with the paper bag hat. Or head. He's also got one red eye, and he's really, really cool. He was the first fighting game character I ever put a lot of time into, and now, I love playing a lot of other fighting games, even though I don't play Guilty Gear Strive that much. You could say I strive to be like him, because he's a doctor, and I want to be a therapist when I grow up, so I can save people. But that's Faust's path. I want my own Faust's path, by helping people by talking with them, and getting to understand their problems, so I can give them what they want. Faust is a doctor who goes in alleyways and saves you with his big medicine and scalpel. And Faust in Limbus is controlled by the Gesellschaft, who is really mean to her. I don't really like them because of that. Because of that, I want to be my own Faust, and make my own decisions in the world, and make my own mistakes. By doing this, I can become a better person, and I can like me, and maybe other people will like me too. In the boss, you're allowed to bring all of the IDs now that you've got some nice gifts. I forgot to mention, but you should prioritize the Poise Rock and the Bleed Rock, because Fell Bullet does both of them, and this allows you to do big damage. So now that I have these gifts, the run has suddenly turned really easy. And now, I can't afford to make any more mistakes, or else it's over. Roger losing that clash is good, because now I get Sharp Needle on third the Yiseng. And now I can kill the boss in one hit. I hope someday I can break bosses in one hit too. But right now, I'm not nearly as strong as Yiseng, so I can't do it yet. But in the future, when I can one-hit bosses, I'll be really strong, and I can work in a restaurant or a patty factory. When I was in elementary school, I got bullied. But it wasn't really that bad, because I'd still consider my childhood really happy. But you know those kids that would like be in the corner of the classroom just like reading Harry Potter, and like they really didn't like loud noises? And you didn't really like them, so you like sometimes took their book and like threw it across the classroom and told me to get 4 eyes to get it. That never actually happened to me, but it'd be really sad if it did. The biggest incidents that I had in elementary school was when we were playing soccer by the fence, and I was the goalie. Then, someone kicked the ball towards me, and I defended the goal, and everyone was happy, except for me, because the ball hit me in my privates. That really fucking hurt. And while I was rinsing on, like wriggling on the ground, all hurt, another boy wanted the ball, and then he stepped on my privates. That made me hurt even more. And no one wanted to help me up, even though I was half crying at that point, because they were so engrossed in the game. I wanted to get another goal. I really did not like that day. I think since then, I haven't even played soccer, even though my dad really liked playing it with me. We would still play a little bit after, but after a while, we just stopped playing soccer. Which is okay, I guess, because that means my privates will be okay. I'm sorry if that story was uncomfortable for some of you, but I like to be as transparent as possible. Faust in Limbus is not very transparent. She says a lot of stuff that is long and convoluted because she wants to look smart, and people like it when she says things like an encyclopedia. I got the rock that time. That means I won my 50-50, and that's really awesome. Sometimes I wonder how cool it would be to be a giraffe. To just have a really long neck and eat leaves off of really tall trees. Unfortunately, I don't think giraffes can run very fast, so I might die to a incoming lion or something, because I couldn't run fast enough with my big neck. I lost that 50-50. It's over. I ruined everything. I've always been a really nosy person. As in, whenever something would happen to anyone, I would have to know about it, even if I didn't really know them all that well. And sometimes, when people have kind of private matters that people tell me, I know I should respect their privacy, but at the same time, I just feel like I had to know for some reason, because I wanted to be a part of something. To an extent, I'm still kind of like this now. I'm being interrupted. I don't like being interrupted. One of my biggest pet peeves is being ignored. When I get ignored, I feel like I'm inadequate, and I'm not worth listening to. Whenever someone DMs me, and I send them a DM, and I think I'm gonna get a response, but I end up just not getting a response, and then they send something else unrelated. It feels really terrible, and I really don't like it. Sometimes, when people do that to me, I purposely close their DM, so I don't have to go look at it anymore. I'm also the type of person to keep alt-tabbing back to Discord, even though there's been no notification to see, even though there's no message to see, just in case there is one. This has caused some stress, but nowadays I feel like I'm getting better at this. I've been doing this thing that's been helping me a lot. Hear me out. I have this Discord server that's just for me, and I called it the Faust Chord, because I'm Faust and it's my Discord. It's the Faust Chord. And in the Faust Chord, I put in like screenshots of stuff I need to use later, and sometimes I use it to journal too, I guess. Sometimes it's the ramblings don't really make too much sense, and I'm pretty sure if I looked back at them after, they would just be a bunch of nonsense, but at the time, it does feel pretty good to just write things down that I don't understand. And by the end, I feel a lot better, because I feel like I did something for myself. Which is good, because everyone deserves to be themselves and love themselves and stuff. In floor 4, you go to line 2, because this pack is really short, even though it says long battle. A lot of the media nowadays is really misleading, and I don't really know who to trust. Because of my mental health studies degree, and how it works, I only actually had to take 2 psychology courses going into the thing. This left me being able to pick like 6 to 8 electives of stuff that I don't really actually have to care about. I could talk about how this made me feel like my degree was fake and I was just kind of there for fun, but that's not really related to this video, so I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, one of those courses was called Media Ethics, and it was a pretty cool course because it was online and I didn't have to do too much work. But it did talk a little bit about stuff like propaganda and like surveillance, and how we're actually really accepting of it and we don't really care about it, even though it's everywhere and we probably should care about it.
간단한 명령입니다.
Thank you, Otis. That was pretty cool. And I'm actually kind of wondering how much my digital footprint really impacts me and how much people know about this stuff. Is that random Instagram reel I sent with some no-no words in some government file now? Does the government just see me as certain age Asian male who does weird stuff online? Does the government see my camera when I take pictures of myself in the shower when I have a bloody nose and I look really scary and creepy? I don't really know. But either way, I'm not sure if I can do anything about it. So I don't really think about it too much. But then again, that's probably what the government wants you to do, and that's really scary, and I don't really know how to deal with it. That being said, I've asked this question to my good friends a couple times, and they kind of just told me that they don't really care what the government has on them, because they don't really have anything to fear. Because what is the government going to see? They're just going to see random stuff that everyone else always does, and they think it's okay because of that. I think that's probably an okay of a mindset to have, but my only problem is that some of the stuff I send is kind of private, and it's like I put my entire soul into it when I talk to my friends about stuff, and my friends do that too. Do they really want someone else knowing about that? I heard Discord was selling info to people I don't know. That's really scary, and I don't really like that. But I still use Discord anyway because of convenience. I was talking to my dad on the car trip home today. Me and him went on a cool adventure, and we saw sakura trees outside. When we were on the highway driving home, he told me that convenience makes people lazy. And stuff that you might think is convenient and is more expensive isn't actually worth it, because it makes you a worse person. I think this is pretty true, because Tesla interface really sucks and I hate it. He's saying it's too slow again, just like in real life. He failed again.
이 기회에 평소 지휘 실력을 확인해보죠, 단테. 하던 대로 해보십시오.
재밌겠는데?
조각조각난 기억도 저들을 들여다볼 필요도 없지. 계속 쏘아라.
상정외의 공격이었으니 이것까지 당신 탓을 할 수 없게
아무튼 슬램!
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가
Sorry for going silent for a bit.
단테.
Sometimes I need to collect my thoughts, and it takes a while for me to get going again.
이게 어떻게 되신 일인가, 보관 선생. 온몸이 점여져서 땅바닥에 흩뿌려지고 말이야. 존경하는 관리자님 고생은 다시게 훌륭한 수감자. 인격 에고 사용적성이 특히 놀랍군.
I think I'm ready to speak again. I don't really know what to talk about, but I suppose this is nice being able to talk to you guys. I'm not sure how many people are going to see this video, or if anyone's going to make it this far in the first place, but if you're here, I want to say that you're probably really cool. And even though I might not have met you in real life, you're probably really cool. I just don't know if your favorite sinner is Sinclair or not. Cause if it is, we might have a couple problems, and we can't be friends. Otherwise, you're probably alright in my book. For floor 5, you want to take one of the line 4s, because it's also really short, and Yisang likes those. It's a running joke with most of my friends that I'm gay, even though I'm straight. I always tell them that I'm always straight, and I'm a Christian guy, and it's kinda weird that they keep calling me gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay. I have a lot of gay friends, like my friend Max, who is actually kind of pretty cool when I think about it. But I'm personally just not like that, and I think that's okay. But there are a lot of friends that just go up to me and they just think I'm gay. And every time they talk to me, they just say that I'm gay. And sometimes that kind of peeves me because I'm not gay. They also say that I'm trans femme and that I'm probably better off being a girl. Sometimes I wonder what it feels like to be a girl. And honestly, at first glance, I wouldn't think it would be that bad, because I think girls are super pretty, and being pretty doesn't sound that bad. I'm not gonna put an image of myself on the screen, but in general, I'd probably rate myself like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I'm perfectly happy with the way I look, and nowadays, I'm even trying to improve that. But in general, I think being a girl is just not for me, because I like being a boy. Boys can do stuff like run really fast and be really good at math. Girls can do that too, but because I'm a boy, I can do things like stand up when going to the washroom and play more League of Legends. Not that I play that game. Please do not associate me with League of Legends. Before this fight happens, you have to get Yisang to 45 SP, because you have to save the bodies for later. When this boss first came out, I thought he was really cool, because I thought his song was really cool.
단순해서 좋군 9번 수감자. 물론
this boss came out, I was at the peak of my Limbus Company. I loved playing Limbus Company here. This is the first time I ever tried to make my railway runs work, and I would look up videos on how to play optimally. However, nowadays, it's not that I don't like this game, but it just feels kind of like a slog to play. Of course I'll play all of the new cantos, and that usually revives my love for this game. But at the same time, doing stuff like this is like doing a chore that I've done for multiple months, and I can't really bring myself to do it weekly anymore. I used to do things by doing solo mirror dungeons for fun, and I would like challenge myself by playing this game. But honestly, I was just doing that to waste time. When the railway came out, I was going through some pretty personal things in my life, and I was looking for any kind of escape to get away from it. And this company was a very convenient escape, because it would take a lot of time to do, and I would ignore doing responsibilities like homework or doing the dishes by playing mirror dungeons and stuff. Also at this time, I had another friend who played this game, and we would talk about it lots, so that was also pretty fun. In hindsight, I don't really regret playing this game as much as I did, and I don't regret the battle passes a lot either. But at the same time, I can't say I enjoy playing it as much as I do now. I guess there are some things in your life that you just have to let go, and that's okay. There will be stuff you like now that you won't like later, and that's just a part of growing up and finding new things to do. This song is really loud. I'm gonna turn it down. There are a lot of YouTubers that I used to like, but I just don't really like them as much anymore. And it's kind of like Limbus Company, where I used to watch them every week and I'd be excited about it, but nowadays, I can't really bring myself to do any of that. Maybe it's because my humor changed and I just don't like it as much anymore, or maybe it's just because, I don't know, YouTube just stopped recommending me their videos. And sometimes I wonder about how those YouTubers are doing. So I went back to them and watched a couple of the newer videos, and I could see why I liked it as a kid, but looking back to how I am now, I don't really see myself watching their videos anymore, and it made me really sad, because those are the videos that would get me going back in the day.
번질러진 모양이죠, 관리자. 우선순위를 잘 분별해서 잘라냈길 기대하겠습니다.
My dad just came in to give me honey water, because I've been getting nosebleeds nowadays, and he's concerned for my health. Back in high school, they used to call me nosebleeds and glasses, because I had nosebleeds and my glasses were really thick. Back then, I wore the title with pride, but looking back, it's probably not a good title to have, because people put me in the stereotype and didn't get to know me. This is probably why I only had like 3 or 4 friends during high school, and I didn't end up going to prom. I don't entirely regret doing that, but at the same time, sometimes I think back to what my high school career could have been, and I kind of regret it, because it could have been a lot more cool. But sometimes life gives you a hand and you don't get upset, and you're just happy with the stuff that you already experienced. And in my life,
들여다볼 필요도
I haven't been around for that long, so there'll probably be a lot more experiences for me in the future to do. And when I think about it like that, I think everything will be okay. I think as of now, I am a pretty okay person, but I can always do better and save more people. So I hope to do that in the
걸작을
future.
자아냈나. 마에스트로님이 어떤 평가를
Iseng is the
내렸을지
most valuable
흥분이
employee.
가시지 않는구려.
Faust did nothing this run. She did 53 damage. Sometimes you take more damage than you deal, and that's okay because you still get the victory in the end. And you can get the claim rewards for the Limbus Company. I think that'll be it for this video, because I have dishes to wash, and it's already 10:17 p.m.
이 깊은 밤에
So I have to go do
무슨
my
일이시오?
responsibilities now, instead of moping around playing Limbus Company.
이 깊은 밤에 무슨
Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you want to like and subscribe, that's cool, I guess.